back in, got a foothold in the game for little periods, but look, as I said pre-game, we need to be positive about everything we do. We've gone through the areas that we need to be mindful of from a Sydney point of view, but for ourselves, it's just quality on the ball and execution when we get to good areas. And
just on that, Craig, Luca Prusso, who doesn't shy away from trying to get himself around the park, but how do you get him on the ball more?
Luca's battle is to think before he runs. He's got a lot of energy, but he needs to use it in the right way. So it's a constant conversation with Luca, but look, he's got in some decent areas. He just needs to keep thinking about the game. Yeah, for most of it, it's think before we speak, and that's what we all try to do. But Craig Deans, thank you for your time, and good luck in the second half. Thanks, boys. And Paulo Retro is caught over the back there by Jordan O'Doherty, who goes into the book. First one, and Paulo's not feeling too crash hot at the moment, so the doctor's going to actually come on for an evaluation. Concussion evaluation. So they can ill forward Sydney, as I mentioned earlier in the first half. Perhaps Anthony Caceres with his ankle problems. With no Luke Bratton tonight. Not exactly sport for choice in the middle of the park. They've got young Patrick Yazbek, who's on the bench for just the second time. He hasn't played a minute of A-League. Feature of their NPL side, but you make of that one. Yellow for that. Yeah, well, I mean, of course, you're on the edge. Some they give, some they don't. But Nieuwenhof is also out of the picture with his back injury from Sydney, so those central midfield positions where once there was a queue, people waiting for a go, they're just down on a couple at the moment, Sydney, and Retro has felt better. Thankfully, he's up and moving around, and it's been deemed unnecessary for him to leave the field for further attention. It's just going to stay in. Yep, it does for Bobo. Ninkovic falls down there for Sydney. Thurgate can settle things for Newcastle. 8 shots to 4 it was in the first half. Ninkovic out to Grant. He can go forward straight away. There's a statement of intent. Ryan Grant just bolting downfield with the ball. Little shove in the back from Prusso. He tries to go through O'Toole and picks up a free kick. Well, that was experience versus inexperience. Grant just holding his feet. The two youngsters came in, couldn't help themselves. And from a position where Ryan Grant was likely to achieve little, have now got the free kick. Johan very good from these situations. All lined up on the edge of the 18-yard box. Johan nearly finds Grant. It was a really good header from O'Toole to get rid of it. He stayed down, he's slow to get up. Ball's coming back. Hogard. He hits it away only as far as Caceres, who's positive as well. Johan. Oh, straight at Italiano, the cross. But a few little inklings of the intent there with the ball from Sydney. Firstly, Grant taking off early, and then Johan a really positive run forward. Jackson gets out the little pitching wedge and finds Hoffman. Thurgate is stopped by Caceres, and here's Johan again. Caceres. Retray. Grant, big switch to King. First touch. Third one wasn't what it needed to be. It's the first time he's missed as well, by my reckoning. Joel King, I think every time he's squared up to drop the ball into the penalty area, he's managed it. It's the first time he's not. Tools clearance, finds Prusso, can't bring it back under. Here's Caceres. There's a rush from Grant. Oh, big air swing from Topol Stanley, got away with it. Donovan does well in front of Retray. Here goes Roy. Out to Miller. Two for company out there. Ninkovic does so well. Underrated part of his game, if there is one, Harps, is the fact that Milos Ninkovic, if he's not near the top of the distance covered for Sydney FC, he's very close to it each and every game.
Yeah, look, I don't know if it's underrated.
It's a good ball from Sydney to find Bumjohan, who gets a little shove from Topor Stanley as he goes to cross. Experienced defending there. King back to Ninkovic. Caceres. Grant had his hand up. I want to ask, missed a question late in the afternoon in the maths class, but Caceres ignored him. They went back down that left. Continue to pepper this side. Retray, now the switch out to Grant. Wasn't exactly the best delivery. Second time of the evening, Ryan Grant controls the ball with his chest on the ground. What an athlete. Caceres. This is dangerous. Barbarousis will get that one back, and Bo was just caught in between staying at the back stick and attacking it. Oh, Italiano had to be careful there.
Yeah, it's a strong start from Sydney, this 5 minutes. Newcastle boxed in. Matty Miller is looking to try and just change that dynamic where he can and push Sydney back into their own half. So Newcastle can launch some sort of raid.
Thurgate asking for options forward. Finds Hoffman. Miller. Positive run again from Miller. Through a few. Blocked out, but it falls for Hoffman on that right-hand side. Thurgate, his cross. O'Toole attacking it. Grant was just made aware of it at the very last second. Ninkovic the other way. Bo Ninkovic. Out to Ryan Grant. Again, across the ground. Crucial just belts it clear. Perhaps I haven't seen this happen in a game ever, and now we've seen it twice in the one game. What is going on?
I mean, he could turn that clip into a beer commercial, I'm sure. And then he turns around and checks
like
his
he meant
boots. It's two opportunities now for Ryan to create a meme of some sort.
For Bumjohan, who does really well to check his run and get in front of Topor Stanley. Going to ground is Bo over the head of Miller, who lets it go. Ninkovic got caught up in that as well, and Miller let's rip down that right-hand side. Stops, and Newcastle will stay in control for a moment. Topor Stanley, positive starting position. Donovan Prusho just drifted into an offside position. O'Toole's not offside. He's done really well here to skip past Grant. The cross only finds Wilkinson. Good opportunity for the Jets.
Yeah, it was. And the touch from Ryan Donovan was a penetrating one. It was meant for Prusho, who had gone offside, but Connor O'Toole realised the opportunity and deftly gets away from Grant. $1 for every time Alex Wilkinson has been in that position and diffused things for his team. Could retire a happy man.
Cash or Bitcoin? Hoffman. His corner, dangerous one. Hands up for a handball. Bo at the back stick there. Down for a goal kick. There we go.
There's no way could give that as a penalty. I know VAR will be having a look at it.
We're in the area of great uncertainty now about what constitutes yes or no. Don't try and explain it. He's just shaking his head now. The longer this goes, I wonder if Alex King's going to be called over by Stephen Lucas to have a little look at this. He will. He will.
Yeah, so whilst this process is underway, you know, and a freeze frame doesn't tell the picture. Because Bobo, he's being pulled away. There's absolutely zero intent. There has to maintain a modicum of intent on the player to handle the ball, irrespective of silhouettes, and I'm not even going to use the other phraseology.
His balance has been contorted by hands-on.
This is not, he's not trying to cheat by leaving his arm up there inadvertently. Not disputing the contact with ball on hand, obviously.
I'll challenge any human being to be trying to jump for the ball and then have a knock, which is part of the game, mid-air, of a defender or an attacker. Alex King...
That's a condemning picture. The freeze frame is condemning. Yeah. The whole action isn't. Look, he's been yanked out of the way. His body is rotating around a longitudinal axis. The biomechanics of that suggest his arm is going to come up and back. Look at where it ends up, his arm. Any rate.
The longer this goes on, the greater the worry for Sydney FC. Alex Baumjohan's come across to give Alex King a bit of advice. King is off in his own little technological world right here with the screen. Here we go. What's it going to be? Alex King. Penalty. Penalty, Newcastle. Alex King's gone the letter of the law, which referees have to. They don't write the rule book. That's the way it is these days with penalties. We'll try and get some word out of VAR or Ben Abraham, the fourth official, about exactly why Alex King has changed his mind. But the point is, Newcastle have the chance to take the lead from the spot. Roy O'Donovan's got the ball. Questions continue from an irate bunch of players from Sydney FC.
Okay, so I don't know why the ref just doesn't clear the area and get the penalty now. Like, what's the point of this? Letting players get their let off steam? It's been a long enough stoppage as it is. That's a discussion point in itself. Let's get things going again. A great opportunity for Newcastle.
Andrew Redmayne, hero for Sydney FC in a penalty shootout in a grand final. He saved 3 of 29 penalties in the A-League regular season over the time. He gets the routine happening. Side to side, Roy O'Donovan from the spot. Gives Newcastle the lead. Controversy about it. But the Jets are one up and on track to cause a monumental boil-over. It's a big, big moment of controversy in the context of not only this game, but the season and the race for the Premier's plate and the race away from the spoon, which this has given Newcastle Jets a massive boost to do just that.
You know, if anything, you could say there's a foul on Bobo for being nudged out of the way. Anyway, look, people can make up their own minds. The fact that it took the match officials 3 or 4 minutes to make up theirs, I think, is condemning. And Roy O'Donovan has condemned Sydney from the spot. What a good penalty. And the Jets with their nose in front. It's been a much more boisterous performance from Newcastle.
Nico was downstairs for all of that. Nico, what were you hearing? What's the conversation? And did you find out exactly why Alex King changed his mind?
Yeah, well, when referee Alex King went over to the screen, he was saying that he didn't believe that Bobo was making himself unnaturally bigger. He thought that the arm was below the shoulder, so the VAR was the one who overturned that decision themselves. Interesting stat, all 3 games that Newcastle have won this season, they've scored the first goal, and so we'll see if that pans out today.
Yeah, looking for a fantastic 4 in that regard, Nico, but that's an interesting evaluation on what he heard down there. He was right beside Alex King. I mean, in the end, Alex King is the man with the whistle. He's the one that makes the decision, but it seems that he was not heavily advised, but pushed down a path by Stephen Lucas.
Well, and you know, oftentimes it's the teams at the bottom that don't get the luck and the close calls. Well, that's been turned on its head here for Newcastle. And you raised the issue at half-time. What happens to Sydney if Newcastle do get the lead? And we've got that scenario now. The defending champions will come strongly, I'm sure.
Yeah, you just wonder if about Sydney FC's play, there's an air of vigilante comes about their play. Alex King has found a free kick all the way back on Alex Baumjohann.
And so now the other part of the equation, Adam, was what do Newcastle do? As you raise this as a discussion point, do they go into their shell or do they continue to try and push the way they have been? It'll be the best way to go. Baumjohann cleared out of that by Topo Stanley, hence the free kick.
Just the 7th time this season that Newcastle have scored the first goal in a game in which a goal has been scored that they've been involved with, and this is the 20th. It hasn't happened anywhere near enough for them this season. As Topo Stanley heads away. King. Bow. His header comes to nothing. It's a long, long time, Harps, to sit back and soak up against Sydney FC, half an hour.
Yeah, well, Ninkovic, etc. But what about the 7 days bookending Bobo's penalty experience?
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
Missed last week in the derby. It was a bad penalty. And I think, well, the judge to have conceded the penalty here today, but massively controversial. It wasn't a penalty in my view. And that's what it does to the table.
Adelaide Central Coast.
What a logjam.
Loving the fact that Alex King has changed his mind right there.
And 7 v8 to follow this game.
Milos Ninkovic wins a corner. Yeah, it's just a normal, not a normal sized carrot in front of those two sides, Western United and Western Sydney Wanderers coming up. It's one of those freak show carrots you see someone get in the world record book, the Guinness World Record book for growing in the backyard. But here's Sydney looking to hit back and hit back straight away. Baumjohann with the corner. Two bunches of Sydney players 10 yards apart in the box. Reads it so well defensively with his head. Happily for the Jets, if they're going to defend crosses in the air all night, they've got two of the better options to defend the 6-yard box with their cranium in Topo Stanley and also Bogard. Back to Retro. Pressure by 2. It's good work defensively by the Jets. O'Donovan looking to get there ahead of Wilkinson. Not over the moon at the moment. Sydney's captain. I think anyone in a Sydney shirt is. Johan has looked lively all night. Barbarousis looks to skip around Bogard, playing around him. They'll get it back here. Caceres on the front foot. Forward runners left and right. Finds Barbarousis. His first touch takes him away. Back to Caceres. He did this last week in the derby and hit the crossbar.
Great block from Thurgate. He was alert to the danger. Much better this evening again from the Port Macquarie Pele. Not my nickname for him, Adam. Don't look at me like that.
If you're playing Jets bingo at home, there's your cross that square off. It's a pretty good nickname, though. If you're going to be named after someone, it may as well be arguably the greatest player of all time. Here's Barbarousis for Sydney.
That's good. This is good pressure from Sydney. There's still plenty of time for the champs to get back into this game. Great test for Newcastle.
There's another corner for Sydney. There's another header away from Bogart. Retray. Back to King. Hunt, early cross, only finds Jackson. Trent Bahaja being readied for Sydney FC. It was Stanton and Steve Corica having a 3 or 4 minute conversation about what to do, how to reshape Sydney as we go forward in this game as they look to claw their way back. Ninkovic trying to fight his way through about 4 Newcastle Jets defenders, and Luis Italiano, the last of them, comes out well. Here's Bahaja. He's going to stretch the line at the back. I dare say that Harps might be nullified somewhat. That's Newcastle Jets player Roger Bogart. A few problems at the moment.
Both he and Jackson regaining position slowly. Ninkovic has taken 2 out with 1 effort.
Italiano. Just goes long. We're hearing Trent Bahaja. We'll get confirmation now from Ben Abraham's board. Bobo, there's the man to make way. So, Harps, this is interesting from Steve Corica because Bahaja and Barbarouses as a combination, you'd like them with a lot of space in between the centre defenders for the opposition and the goalkeeper. Can't imagine there's going to be a stack of that going forward if Newcastle just look to soak.
Yeah, interesting. Agree with you. And he's the best finisher in the team, Bobo. And half an hour to go. Close enough too. He finds himself on the bench.
Can't imagine it's a a loading decision because the next game's in 7 days. Their last game was 7 days ago. Sydney. Rolled the dice a little here, Steve Corica, in search of this equaliser and perhaps something more for Sydney to get back to second on the ladder. Ryan Grant, really positive run, looking to get around O'Toole. He did that, but Tupper Stanley came and cleaned up. Conversely, Newcastle, what do they do with their
Well, at the moment,
options?
Yeah, at the moment, I'd say Craig Deans is very happy with the way the team's fighting and sticking together. There has been a good collective solidarity, is the term at half-time, to sum things up, and they're still holding together nicely. So no need to change if you're him at the moment.
Here they go forward through Luca Crucio. There's a lot of space for Jordan O'Doherty in the middle. Crucio didn't find him immediately, but found Hoffman. He's pressured by Bahaja. O'Doherty's first touch is too heavy, and Sydney can come away. I wonder how long Jordan O'Doherty's got left. You have to go back to the 21st of February for his last minutes in the A-League. That was a start for Western Sydney against Wellington. A big ask to get him to zip around in midfield for 90 minutes. Almost 3 months removed from his last play at this level.
All right, he had a game a couple of weeks ago. He played 60 minutes, and that's what's given the Jets the confidence that he can last at least this long. And if, as we were told pre-game by Craig Deans, if he feels he can keep going, he will.
Moves the ball forward in the path of O'Toole here.
It's a waste. It's a waste, and it invites trouble. And this is a moment of concentration where you could have pinned Sydney back, and now you're back under pressure yourself.
One of your central defenders is now in the book, Jackson, for a challenge on Barbarouses. Quickly taken, Ninkovic. It was all sorts of chaos in the box there for Newcastle. Grant looking to feed Ninkovic again, but Tupper Stanley read it. been quality organisation for Newcastle. The 70 minutes we've seen so far here this evening. Defensively, done well. Crucially, though, there's the hardest 20 minutes to come. King, he does get his cross over. Italiano called for it. O'Toole, his touch invites trouble. Here's Rattray. His cross finding Bahaja off the bar. Sydney again hit the woodwork. What an escape for the Jets.
Mate, now that was looking like Bobo, but it was Bahaja, the other beat. What a header. And again, Connor O'Toole very fortunate to get away with this one. Super delivery from Rattray. What a belter from Bahaja. Rattling the crossbar. A warning to Newcastle if they needed one.
There's another chance. Bumyahan goes down. He had hands all over him. He's been given advice to get straight back up by a lot of home fans. You heard that. He's been called a cheat by someone. But there looked to be contact. And wasn't given. Play on. Sydney looking to up it a little more in search of this equaliser. Ninkovic with time to assess. Finds Barbarousis across the ground, cut out by Thurgate, corner. But was close, and yeah, you can see why that a few Jets weren't too happy with Alex Bumyahan. But that is the 9th time that Sydney have hit the woodwork this season, Harps.
Great action.
It's equal with Wellington in terms of that statistic for the most times this campaign. Bumyahan has looked lively this evening. Good corner. Bogard attacks it. Caceres will have a go, but too high. Once a Jet, then a Sydney FC player, and returning as a Jet. Ali Abbas coming on for Luca Prucho. His night is done. Ali, late start to his A-League career, of course, after he stayed here with the Nike Olympic team, deciding to make Australia his home. He made his debut against Sydney as a 23-year-old back in 2009. And, of course, he went over to Sydney FC. As you can see, 68 games with the Sky Blues. He's come back here at the back end of his career to resume as a Jet and play a big part in holding on to all 3 points. His first involvement is to take the ball into the final third with 2 Sydney FC players around him, and he wins a corner.
And you'll think about his many highlights, but a couple of big stories. When he came back, scored in his first game back for Sydney after that horrible knee reconstruction. What an emotional moment that was for him.
Put on a platter for Topol Stanley, who's over the back of Wilkinson, and illegally so, according to Alex King.
And the other time at Sydney, remember when he went toe-to-toe with Alessandro Del Piero in the dugout about substitutions, etc. He's no shrinking violet, Ali Abbas, even if he isn't the world's biggest man, but he is full of fight. He will make a contribution from here. Very clever player as well. The time that remains in his senior professional career, he'll make everything count for his team.
He's got a massive role to play here in terms of Newcastle being under pressure. They say that the ball will be moved quickly to that region in front of the back four, and someone to be smart enough to not just give it away straight away, so the pressure continues. Grant and Bumyahan working something down this right side for Sydney. Back to Bumyahan. He attacks it, and Alex King says that he was looking for that contact, going down before the contact came, if there was any in the first place. But Sydney have it back through Joel King on the left side.
He certainly went down, which is why he's going to find it difficult without categoric contact to get the favour of the referees in the penalty situations.
Which you see the Jets, he went down, and the Jets bench, the three coaches down there, straight up, not happy.
He yinged and they yanged.
King to Ninkovic. Done a pretty good job, Newcastle and Ninkovic, in the second half. Hasn't been as influential as he was certainly early in the game. Caceres. Looking for Bahaja. He's quick enough to get there, but there's no one in the box. It's a disaster, though, for the Jets. Own goal, 1-1. A complete calamity. The clearance found a teammate, and Sydney find joy.
Well, the positive is the beauty in the build-up. Ninkovic rubbing off on Caceres as he just drifted around the penalty area. Look at him, too fast, too sharp for Ali Abbas. Beautiful ball, feeding a great run from Bahaja, whose instinctive cross back across the 6-yard box was a good one. And that's where the good news story ends and the calamitous tale begins. It's a horror show from Connor O'Toole. Just checking perhaps the offside of Bahaja in that run through.
One, Sydney with the momentum. As Newcastle look to hit back immediately. Ali Abbas brings in O'Toole, who wins a foul. And while this is being set up, it's a yellow card for Alex Bumyohan. Quickly down to Nico.
Yeah, well, interesting stat here, guys. 75% rather of Sydney FC's goals this season have been scored in the second half. That is the most prolific of any team, or any team has ever been in particular half in A-League history. So it certainly speaks to their endurance and stamina, the Sky Blues.
And the ability to keep on asking question after question. Thank you, Nico. But defensively, they have a job to do here. Jackson Hoffman likes his angles here, you feel. Redmayne's got his angle to cover his near post. Hoffman's gone far post and Redmayne can only look. Whew.
Tidy from Hoffman. Redmayne decided he wasn't going to get there, planted his feet and started blowing as hard as he could.
Bahaja is caught. Hogard, who could do absolutely nothing about that. Unfortunately, it's going to be his name in brackets, OG, to describe that on scorecards and the like. That's what it means to the live ladder. Just one goal, and Sydney FC go from 5th to 2nd. Newcastle go back bottom. Luka Ivanovic being ready to come on, young striker as well. King. Ninkovic. Bumyohan. Out to Barbarousis. His cross meets feet. Grant just has a go. That was on target. Here's Bumyohan with his left. Blocked by O'Doherty. Caceres. Looking for Grant. We've seen that kind of ball profit. Sydney profit from a ball like that before. The biggest game of last season.
Yeah, to win the ultimate prize. And how well rewarded have Sydney been with the change of Bahaja? We question taking Bobo out of the lineup to get Bahaja on, but he's rattled the crossbar with that header and then in a way has an assist for the equalising goal, forcing the own goal. Here he goes again.
Bahaja back to Grant. It's a good looking cross. Italiano does really well to claim. So Trent Bahaja, remember in the Champions League how good he was?
Yeah, well, and could have been better. He actually missed way more than he scored, and he still scored some great goals.
His movement was, his cues and movement with those behind him was on point. And getting back after another injury setback. Impressive introduction so far. Hoffman does really well. Get on to Donovan in his ball, to Miller. continues his run but takes it out of play.
Well defended. John King has been outstanding. Great game today for Sydney.
Change in shape here for Sydney. So he wants Ninkovic to come in behind a central striker in Barbarouses, and Ivanovic and also Bahaja to occupy wider areas. And Ninkovic, the attacking midfield option at the point of a midfield three. O'Toole takes no chances, all the way to Wilkinson. Hoffman keeps him company. Thurgate does well to disrupt play. O'Doherty. Oh, right idea perhaps to Thurgate, and McGowan was on his game to stop that. Ninkovic, beautiful. Ivanovic with a paddock to run into, finds Bahaja. This is brisk from Sydney. Bahaja looks to chip. Oh, right idea. I'm not sure if it was on target, but it's a corner for Sydney.
It would have been close. It was sublime from Ninkovic, really. Locked in here as he was. 4 Jets around him. Ivanovic knew something special would come if he just continued his run. Bahaja's touch was a poor one after being put through by Luke Ivanovic, and he was dinking it for that far post, and it might have snuck in were it not for Matt Miller. What a terrific counter-attack for Sydney. Beautiful from Ninkovic again.
What a great example of how the tiny little things on a football field can mean huge things moments later. Here's the corner from Caceres. It falls to the feet of Topor Stanley, who has an airy. Back to Rattray. Ninkovic to Caceres again. Stands up, no tool. Oh, deflected cross shot, whatever it was, it's out for a throw-in. But that could have been worse for Newcastle.
Well, after the air swing, Topor Stanley gets his right boot in. Caceres, a raid down the right. O'Toole at full stretch deflects it for a throw-in on the other side of the field. Well, they're standing up well, Newcastle, given the circumstances. Those circumstances, of course, a 12-game winless streak, bottom of the table coming into this match. But they're showing good resilience against Sydney.
Valentino Yule coming on for the goal scorer, Roy O'Donovan. Scored his 13th penalty in A-League football. His 55th goal in this competition. Vital one for the Jets. And here's that shout. McGowan feeling he was felled by Topor Stanley. Nietzsche is on there as well for Newcastle, so it's a fresh front three for them to see this one out. Perhaps get something more out of it as well on the break. Bahaja on his heels was Barbarouses, not expecting that decision from his strike partner. I reckon they've got about 10 minutes to get the 3 points here, Sydney or Newcastle on the break. Ninkovic, under it is Bogard, and Bahaja's cross is blocked. McGowan does well to get there in front of Yule. Caceres. Grant. Ivanovic. Shout of handball, but it was a hand that was allowing Ali Abbas to stay upright. Grant. And Doherty. So Valentino Yule as well. Shouldn't discount Newcastle's chances of getting that goal on the break. He can cause havoc with his direct running. And it's a case of doing doggies over to the other side and try and hunt down Wilkinson, who gets it out to King. Ninkovic. Covered by O'Doherty. His leg's probably screaming by now, but he's done well.
Yeah, it's been a solid debut for Jordan O'Doherty. chase then to make sure the most dangerous man on the field can't draw more blood from you. But the corner has resulted.
Caceres with the corner. Italiano called it early, had a few to get through. He eventually got a little palm on it. Retro's touch takes it out. I don't want time off the clock here, Sydney. They're chasing a winner, and is he maybe just a cramp?
Yeah, his legs just cramped up. It's a horrible feeling when the staffy grabs you full bite.
I don't want to bring on the physio to go down to 10 here, Sydney, but Pickle Juice has been slipped. It's an instant recovery. Play goes on, as it should. Caceres. Ninkovic. Two. And he clears it as far as Caceres. King. To Grant. The other way. Shout of a handball. Ryan Grant was the most interested. Alex King at the moment doesn't want to know about it. Retro's back on, but not feeling 100%. Is King looking for Barbarouses. Ninkovic waiting in the middle as well with a few others. King. Nigel Bogart's rolled out of play, so they're defending with 10. Here's Caceres, deflected and out for a corner. Yeah, Nigel Bogart did the commando roll to get off.
He didn't want to play anyone on side, and now he wants to get on to get the ref to stop the game. Leaving the field and then re-entering. Yellow card offence. Not suggesting Knights should get one.
Remember when Sergio Van Dijk did it in Adelaide once? He's Harry van der Sar coming on, and he'll just be like for like for Palo Retro in the centre of the park. When Sergio Van Dijk did it at Hindmarsh once, where he just bolted off the field to go to the toilet, comes back on. He cops the yellow card. It's probably fair enough, because the alternative was much worse than a yellow card. Trent Bahaja, can he rise again like he did, rattling the crossbar just after he came off the bench? Can he get this one right? Can Sydney get this one right? Caceres. Ivanovic was beaten to it by Yule.
That was desperation from Tino Yule. Excellent defending. It sort of sets the tone for the Jets from here.
Abbas looking for Yule, but over his head. Hasn't got much help behind him there. Valentino has a big gap. He's asking Ali Abbas to press up in support of him, but Tino was going 1 to Ali's 2 in terms of stride pattern and speed. Krasniqi use his experience here. Hold the ball up. Yule does really well. Net play, Nietzsche and O'Doherty, still got a bit of energy. Miller, a few bodies there. Yule, big chance, massive chance, and he scuffs the shot.
Wow, that would have been it. A superb setup, started by the composure and technique of Luridon Krasniqi. Oh, wow, Tino Yule.
Trouble the other way. Bahaja. I don't know if he was going for the near post there, but Barbarouses was the man making the intelligent run through the middle for Sydney.
Well, he's worked so hard for his club this year, Valentino Yule. I'm, for him, glad that his horrible miss didn't get doubly punished by a Sydney goal up the other end. What a moment. At both ends, Bahaja couldn't pull the ball back. Sure, he was aiming or hoping to hit Costa Barbarouses.
Ivanovic trying to stand O'Toole up. He does well, gets past him. Can pick his spot here. Ivanovic, a little flick at the scorpion kick end from Bahaja. 1-on-1 Yule with Wilkinson, and experience wins out. The beauty of this is, with both sides still asking questions in an attacking sense, we've got 5 more minutes. Caceres. And Grant. Where's the solution for Sydney to get all 3 points? Van der Sar looking for Grant, who stretches and stretches well. Krasniqi, his header is away. O'Doherty does extremely well to get rid of Van der Sar and play in Ali Abbas. And he's slipping and sliding and doing everything he can to keep possession. Instead it goes back to Ivanovic, and Sydney can go forward. Van der Sar to King. One minute of 5, almost done with. Another switch from Van der Sar looking for Grant, and this time O'Toole gets his bearings right. Newcastle, they nick a winner here. They're off the bottom. Sydney, they're in second, but they've got a bit of a buffer if they get all 3 points for themselves. Every moment counting in this enthralling A-League season. King. 4 bodies, 5 bodies for Sydney waiting on that last line of the Newcastle back 5 or 6. Caceres just stands it up looking for Barbarouses, who finds it only as far as Topor Stanley in the middle. Van der Sar. And King. Ninkovic. And King again. Ivanovic attacking it. Just missed it. Grant. Caceres. Probing Sydney. Ninkovic. Caceres. There's space to run into. To Barbarouses. Italiano off his line. Another one goes down with cramp. It's Lockie Jackson, who rolls back onto the field, has to get up. He's keeping everyone on side. Matt Miller goes forward, and Yule can turn into space. Out to Ali Abbas. Do they go after it here, Newcastle? Miller's drifted into an offside position. He's no help for his mate Ali, who intelligently backheels back to Miller. Through 3 of them. Trying to find the middle. O'Doherty, first game for the Jets. What a story that would have been. But the tired legs could only skew a shot wide.
Well, a rousing finish. Beautiful shift of the ball from Miller. Very deft indeed. Took a deflected pass to find it to its way to Jordan O'Doherty. Never set. Looks tired. Put in a big effort for his team. Late in the contest. Didn't have the juice. And the chance goes begging. 2 for Newcastle late. Doherty from the edge of the box on debut, but not nearly as gilt-edged as from 7 yards, centre of the goal from Valentino Yule.
Lockie Jackson's got the imaginary boa constrictor around his lower leg at the moment. It's not helping him at all or his team, but he stays out there. We're approaching the last minute. Newcastle. Oh, if Thurgate could play that forward, there was bodies in motion in that direction. This time they go through Miller. Taking Bahaja on, who does well to recover. Last minute. Last roll of the dice for both of them. Who's got the magic moment? Krasniqi went the party trick, and Matt Miller was not at the party. He was just watching. So many games this season we have seen some ridiculous things in the dying seconds. Are we about to get the same in Newcastle? Nervous fans all around this beautiful stadium on a wonderful night for football. And Sydney can go forward. Redmayne quickly. The spare ball next to his net, and he brings in King. It's down to seconds now for Sydney. Caceres. No time for cuteness. Got to be direct. He's allowed to run a long way with the ball. Here's Grant, last minute cross. Whose head can he find? Oh, Nikovic took it off the foot of Bahaja. It's still in perhaps for King, who does really well. He didn't want to know about the right foot cross. Nikovic. King. Caceres. Way past the minimum 5. It's going to fall to Thurgate. Nikovic with pressure. Trouble. Away by top horse Stanley. Desperate last-ditch defending.
Wow, edge of your seat stuff here in Newcastle.
And that will do us. We can all get our breath back now. There's bodies on the ground. A number of Jets are on their haunches, just their lungs screaming for air. But a little bit of life for the Jets. Despite the fact their winless run goes on, they can be pretty satisfied with their application, effort and performance this evening, as opposed to what they've been serving up in recent weeks. In Sydney, well, that's a blow. That's a big blow for their Premier's Plate aspirations, because now they've played 2 more games than Melbourne City and they're still 6 points adrift. Sydney through 21 games, 32 points. Melbourne City through the 19, and they'll take on Brisbane tomorrow in a match shaping as incredibly important for the makeup of the top 6. That one tomorrow afternoon at the start of a double-header. We've been treated to a beauty to start this double-header on a Saturday all around the country. We've got Western Sydney and Western United to come in a battle of the 2 teams on the cusp of the top 6, but it ends all square with a fair bit of drama and entertainment on a Saturday night in Newcastle. It's Newcastle Jets 1, Sydney FC 1. Oh, what a finish.
Top stuff. Great game. Great fight from Newcastle. I think they're fortunate to get the penalty. I disagree with the decision, but they deserve a goal today just on their output, and might have won it late. Roy O'Donovan's penalty gave them the lead, and then Connor O'Toole blasting the ball into his skipper from about 2 yards into their own goal to level the scores. It was a really tense finish. Good fight from Newcastle. Their fans will respond to that, and Sydney will wonder where those 2 points went.
Here's the controversy. I dare say Steve Corica is not going to be best pleased after the game on review.
At full speed, it's even worse. He's been pulled out. Oh my goodness. It's even worse at full speed. It's a great penalty from Roy. A great penalty.
A beauty. And then at the other end, unfortunately, Roger Bogard, through no fault of his own whatsoever, scored the equaliser. That was the controversy. Let's get downstairs to a man who's centre to it all, and a big part of why Newcastle looks so organised, and a really good performance from the home side. Standing by with Nico.
Well, Nigel, a valiant effort from your team, but sadly didn't get the result. Your thoughts on what transpired out there?
Yeah, obviously disappointed to not get more out of it, but probably overall, it's probably a fair result. I think the pen, we've been on the wrong side of those this year, so they are what they are, and Roy disposed of it. Obviously, they're a good side. They are where they are for a reason, and just credit to the boys for digging in. Unfortunately, we were the own goal in the end. I thought we defended very